I remember with clarity the day when it all began. It was a typical weekend morning, and I had woken up in a similar manner, tired and somewhat sluggish. My room was bathed in the timid rays of the sun that seeped through the drawn curtains. In one corner of the room there stood an old mirror, an heirloom from my grandmother. It was an elegant piece of furniture, but it seemed to have seen better days. I approached the mirror, gazing into my reflection. However, this time, something was different. Behind me, in the mirror, a strange silhouette seemed to be taking shape. Initially, I thought it was just a trick of the light, but I remained fixated upon it, frozen in place. That silhouette was not mine, and above all, it was not the result of any play of light or optical illusion. I tried to make sense of its form when I noticed fluid movements, akin to a horrifying dance, unfolding behind me. They were gestures of sinister elegance, like those of a creature that did not belong to this world. I realized that the mirror was not reflecting my reality, but something entirely different, and this filled me with dread. I attempted to turn around, but my feet felt as if they were rooted in place. As I struggled with the fear welling up inside me, the silhouette in the mirror began to take on a clearer form. It was a stranger, a terrifying being with deep-set eyes and dark attire. As I gazed at him, I felt a cold breeze pass by me, as if the menacing presence was trying to escape the mirror and enter my world. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. It was as if my world was collapsing around me, and the mirror was becoming a portal into the unknown. The gaze of the stranger in the mirror was hypnotizing me, and I was utterly vulnerable before him. As his gaze penetrated me, I felt reality fading away, and I was sinking into a dark abyss. I was trapped in a collision of worlds, and the trap was closing in around me. It was just the beginning, but I now understood that the foreign presence in the mirror represented a dreadful threat, and the struggle to return to my world was growing ever more sinister and desperate. When I awoke, I found myself in an entirely different place. Before me stretched a nightmarish landscape, a dark world teeming with sinister shadows. It appeared to be a parallel dimension, a realm that should have remained concealed behind the mirror. I felt ensnared in the malevolent grip of this land, and the presence from the mirror was somewhere nearby, feeling more threatening than ever. Around me, the shadows seemed to stir, as if in constant agitation. I couldn't discern anything clearly, but I sensed that these entities were just as alien and dangerous as the presence from the mirror. They were everywhere, like an army of darkness, and I knew I had to find a way to escape from this terrifying place. I attempted to gather my wits and orient myself in this strange world. Somewhere in the distance, I heard an eerie murmur, a kind of sinister song that beckoned me in a particular direction. With each step I took, the feeling of being watched intensified. I knew that the presence from the mirror was close, and it harbored a sinister interest in me. When I reached the source of the song, I stumbled upon another mirror, similar to the one in my room. In the mirror stood the menacing stranger, gazing at me with deep and malevolent eyes. With every passing second, his silhouette seemed to solidify, as if he were on the verge of leaving the mirror and entering my world. I felt an overwhelming desperation, knowing that I had to do something to stop this malevolent presence. I tried to strike the mirror with my hands, but the glass seemed impenetrable. The presence in the mirror grinned malevolently, and his gesture made me understand that he was the master of this horrifying world, and I was merely a captive victim. In that moment, I realized that in order to survive and escape from this sinister realm, I had to confront the presence in the mirror, uncover its secrets, and find a way to defeat it. With unwavering determination, I decided to venture deeper into this dark world and confront whatever awaited me in the mirror, prepared for any terrifying challenge it had in store. I ventured deeper into this dark world, determined to confront the presence from the mirror. As I drew nearer, I noticed that the landscape itself was growing increasingly malevolent. Twisted and contorted trees reached towards the sky, and the heavens displayed an unnatural shade of purple, as if it were a representation of an altered reality. Eventually, I stood before the mirror, and the menacing stranger was now fully materialized, gradually emerging from the mirror's surface. He wore a chilling smile, and his eyes exuded pure malevolence. With each step he took towards me, I mustered my last shreds of courage and asked, "Who are you? Why are you here?" His response was a sinister laughter that sent shivers down my spine. "I'm a presence beyond your world, a stranger in search of power and truth, and you are my gateway to your world." I understood that this was a real danger, not just for me, but for my world as well. In that moment, I felt a strange energy, and I noticed that I, too, was beginning to become a part of this altered world. It was as if the light within me was slowly fading. With my last remaining strength, I fought against the presence from the mirror. I recalled my grandmother and the old mirror that had belonged to her. With unexpected strength, I grabbed the mirror and attempted to shatter it into 1,000 pieces. As the glass cracked and splintered around me, the presence in the mirror emitted a terrifying scream, and everything turned into a whirlwind of blinding light. Then, I felt myself returning to my room. I fell to the floor, exhausted and shocked. The old mirror was in pieces, and the presence from the mirror had vanished, but I had a lingering sense that I hadn't truly escaped it. It was a fleeting victory, and the evil from the mirror likely waited for the right moment to return. In this ongoing battle with darkness, I've discovered that sometimes evil can hide within the most innocent objects, waiting to be unleashed to threaten our world.